I came to in the middle of someone else's life, the male lead in one of those toxic romance novels. Before I could even process the memories flooding my brain, a woman so beautiful it was almost offensive slapped me clean across the face. My hand instinctively shot up to retaliate, but a few lines of text scrolled across my vision, like comments on a live stream. Here we go. The female lead starts the abuse. She's gonna regret this slap so hard later it'll drive her crazy. Yep, just wait till she finds out her precious little brother staged his own car accident. She'll be on her knees begging the hero to hit her back. Honestly, isn't the guy a little bit of a moron too? He knows he's being framed, but never looks for proof, just keeps denying it like a broken record. Reading the comments, I just smirked. She'll regret it later? No need to wait. I'll make her regret it right now. I don't hit women, but I have no problem hitting a bitch. You psycho bitch, you think you can put your hands on me? I roared and sent a kick straight into her stomach. She flew backward, her body slamming against the wall before sliding down to the floor in a heap. In that brief pause, I finally sorted through the memories. I've been dropped into a book, specifically a trashy novel called You're Coddling Your Brother. So why are you crying when I ask for a divorce? I was now the protagonist, Andrew Harrison, the poor sap who gets misunderstood by his wife, framed by her manipulative best friend, emotionally and physically tormented, and then, after finally demanding a divorce, becomes the object of her desperate, groveling redemption tour. The gorgeous woman clutching her stomach on the floor was Claire Thompson, my wife, in the legal sense of the word, the novel's heroine. The story was just getting started. Chapter 1. Claire's conniving best friend, Cody, had just been in a car accident and insinuated to her that I, Andrew, had arranged it. Claire, without a shred of evidence, believed him instantly. She'd come home, slapped the original Andrew, and demanded he go to the hospital to apologize to the little snake. The original Andrew, furious and heartbroken, refused. So, she spent the night at the hospital, nursing the fraud. Damn it. If I'd shown up 2 seconds later, I could have avoided the slap. You lay a hand on me, I'll break it. My own mother never dared to hit me like that. As I finished processing the memory, more text appeared in my vision, bold and black, impossible to miss. What the hell? The hero just kicked the heroine. Should he have just taken the slap, and then they give each other the silent treatment? Maybe the author got flamed so hard they secretly rewrote the plot. Definitely. I read this before, and it didn't go down like this. The hero never laid a finger on her, not even at the end. A live comment feed? I got it. They were reviews from readers in another world. My arrival here had completely derailed the novel's plot. From now on, my life was my own. That weak, spineless doormat who gets beaten, framed, and lands in the ICU had absolutely nothing to do with me. I strode over and loomed above the pathetic figure of Claire Thompson. You said I hired someone to hit Cody. Where's your proof? Her eyes blazed with fury. Andrew, you hit me. You actually hit your wife. You're not a man. I cracked a wicked grin and threw my hands up. You started it. At this point, it's just mutual combat. I leaned in closer. Besides, a woman who attacks her own husband for some pretty boy freeloader, calling you a bitch is a compliment. You're calling me a bitch? Yeah, you're a married woman messing around with another man. That's disloyal. I saved your family from ruin, and you repay that kindness by attacking me for some parasite. That's ungrateful. A disloyal, ungrateful piece of work like you. What's wrong with calling you a bitch? Bitch. Bitch. Bye itch. As I finished, the comment feed lit up again. Damn, the hero's got a sharp tongue now. I don't remember him ever calling her a bitch in the original story. Tell us more about the ending. Don't these kinds of stories usually get abandoned halfway through? What else? The hero forgave her, got together with her and the second female lead, and lived happily ever after with both. Claire looked up, and in her eyes, mixed with the rage, was something new. Shock. Utter disbelief. After a brief moment of stunned silence, Claire's anger flared even hotter, her tone dripping with disappointment. Do you even have to ask why I hit you? Just because I showed Cody a little kindness. You hired someone to run him over. If I hadn't talked him out of it, he would have called the police, and you'd be in jail. What would happen to me and our daughter then? Proof. I asked again, my voice calm. Who else could it be? Yesterday at the office, you accused him of trying to seduce me, and today he gets hit by a car. Who else but you? She shot back. I let out a short, sharp laugh. I stepped forward, grabbed a fistful of her hair, and slapped her hard across the face. He who alleges must prove. Ever heard of it? Slap. Another one. If I committed a crime, the law will deal with me. I don't need you playing judge and jury. Slap. A third. Or is it that you're so broken up about your little boyfriend getting hurt that you just couldn't wait to find an excuse to come after me for him? The comment feed exploded. WTF? The hero is a wife-beater now. Is the author trying to get canceled? No matter what the heroine did, you can't just hit her like that. Is it wrong that I find this incredibly satisfying? Go Andy go. Isn't he afraid she'll sue him for domestic abuse? Dude above me must be speed reading. The hero just said it was mutual combat. She won't. She's a lovesick fool. She's only nice to Cody out of a sense of obligation for what his parents did for her. She really loves the hero. After beating Claire until her face was bruised and swollen, I planted my foot on her cheek, pressing it into the floor. The knot of rage in my chest finally loosened. I felt good, and once I felt good, I brought up the divorce. Claire struggled to her feet. The look in her eyes could be drawn on a pie chart. 1/3 humiliation, 1/3 disbelief, 1/3 rage, and a sliver of despair. You're not the Andrew I know. The Andrew I know wouldn't do this to me. You're not the Claire I know, either, I said flatly. The Claire I know would believe in me unconditionally, and she sure as hell wouldn't cheat. I didn't. I've told you 100 times. I just see Cody as a brother. You're the one who's being paranoid and possessive, she shrieked. That's why you had him run over. People like you belong in prison. The words tumbled out, but each one seemed to cause her sharp pain from her bruised mouth. Then call the cops. Go on, if you can find any evidence, I taunted. But before you do, let's go get this divorce finalized. Your family's company was about to go bankrupt when I loaned you $2 million to save it. At the time, that money was worth about 20% of Thompson Industries. I'll give you a discount. Just give me the cash equivalent of 10% of the company's current value, and we'll call it even. As I said it, I could feel a thrill of excitement. I was about to be rich. Finally, it was my turn to be a multimillionaire. My sweet, sweet money. The comments popped up again. The plot is completely off the rails. The original hero left with nothing. Now he's demanding a payout. I think the book mentioned Thompson Industries is worth around $50 million now. 10% is $5 million bucks. $5 million is nothing. The girl who chases him later in the story is the heir to $1 billion empire. Claire stubbornly turned her head away. I won't divorce you. Not unless you agree to leave with nothing. The comments continued. She doesn't mean it. Saying he has to leave with nothing is just her way of stopping the divorce. She still loves him. Here we go. The part where they drag this out for 100 chapters and still don't get divorced. I'll bet you $5 it takes at least 100 chapters for them to finally sign the papers. Not a chance, I said. That 10% is what I'm owed. You want me to walk away with nothing? Dream on. If you don't agree, you can expect to hear from my lawyer. $5 million. I was an idiot. I wouldn't throw that away just to prove a point. Still, the comments gave me pause. Claire did have feelings for the original Andrew. Of course, that didn't mean she wasn't falling for someone else. Plenty of people love two people at once. But I sure as hell wasn't going to accept that. There's an old saying, you can reform a sinner, but you can't fix a cheater. If Claire had been truly loyal to the original Andrew, I might have considered sticking around. But a two-timing, manipulative woman like her, I wanted nothing to do with her. The problem was if this went to court, things could get messy. While Claire and Cody's relationship was shady, the novel was tagged #no infidelity, so they hadn't actually done anything physical yet. In the original story, the divorce only happened after Cody hired someone to run Andrew over. Andrew was in the hospital, fighting for his life, while Claire was still fussing over her little brother. She only agreed to the divorce when she saw Andrew in a wheelchair at the courthouse, looking half dead. I'm no masochist. In my last life, I got diagnosed with ALS at a young age and could only wait to die in a wheelchair. This time, I finally have a healthy body. I won't let anyone harm me. Suddenly, a brilliant idea popped into my head. My tone softened. Come on, take me to see Cody. Claire's eyes narrowed with suspicion. After the beating she'd just taken, she obviously didn't believe I was suddenly going to apologize to Cody. Take me to him, I clarified. I want to confront him face to face. When she hesitated, I let my face harden, my expression shifting back to the man who'd just beaten her. Fine, she immediately conceded. The comments section went wild. Damn, does anyone else think the heroine is pathetic? The hero speaks to her nicely. She hesitates. He scowls, and she immediately agrees. Totally. It feels like the heroines in these books are just spoiled brats. If he just smacked her down the first time she got too close to that guy, none of this would have happened. Go Andy go. The crowd goes wild. Before we left, Claire put on some makeup to cover the bruises. She drove her car, and I followed in mine. In her passenger seat, that little snake Cody had placed a custom-made plaque that read, Brother's exclusive spot. The fact that Claire allowed that thing to be there was unforgivable. Did she not know how much that would piss off her husband? No, she knew. She was just so used to being adored that she didn't give a damn about his feelings. At the hospital, Cody was lying in bed, wrapped up like a mummy. The moment he saw me and Claire walk in, he let out a theatrical hiss of pain. Claire immediately rushed toward him. I stuck out my foot. Claire, caught off guard, tripped and went down face first, eating the floor. Legally, we were still married. Doting on another man right in front of me? Who gave her the nerve? Andrew, you tripped her on purpose. Cody shrieked from the bed. She should watch where she's going, I said nonchalantly, though of course it was intentional. I wasn't about to admit it. Claire scrambled up from the floor and shot me a wounded look. But this time, she stayed put, not daring to move closer to the bed. See? What did I tell you? She's a masochist. She only learns when it hurts. TSK, TSK. Look at you, all wrapped up like a Christmas ham. What kind of idiot driver doesn't have the sense to just finish the job and kill a two-faced snake like you? Andrew, did you come here just to laugh at me? Don't get cocky. If Claire hadn't begged me, I would have already called the cops, Cody said, his face a mask of righteous indignation, as if I were the one bullying him. Then do it. I dare you. Call them. I challenged. You're saying I hired someone to put you in this hospital, right? Then call the police and have me arrested. Cody's face turned beet red. After a long moment, he stammered. You know I won't do anything to you because you're Claire's husband, but you've gone too far. First you try to have me killed, and now you come here to humiliate me. Andrew, have you lost your mind? Claire cut in. Cody has already forgiven you. What more do you want? Slap. Didn't your parents teach you not to interrupt when men are talking? Before Claire could even react, Cody exploded. Andrew, you hit her right in front of me. I'm calling the police. I swear I won't let you get away with this. It turns out that intense emotion really can unlock human potential. Just like that, Cody, supposedly riddled with fractures, sat bolt upright in his bed. The comment feed was in an uproar. El Mayo, tell me a joke. A guy with full body fractures just sat up in bed to yell at someone. Cody wasn't hurt that badly. He just had minor injuries and bribed the doctor to wrap him up like a mummy. Too bad the heroine is so trusting. I wonder if she'll finally see through his act this time. Hello, 911. I'd like to report a crime. A calm voice echoed through the hospital room. My voice. Are you crazy? Claire shrieked, lunging for my phone. Slap. She was well behaved again. Clutching her cheek, Claire retreated to the far corner of the room. Andrew, what are you trying to do? Do you actually want to go to jail? Falsely accusing someone of attempted murder is slander. If the circumstances are serious, it constitutes a felony. According to the criminal code, fabricating facts to defame another person is punishable by up to 3 years in prison, detention, or public surveillance, I said, kindly educating the legally illiterate. Cody's face paled. He turned to Claire desperately. Claire, I scoffed. Idiot. What's the use of explaining to her? You can explain it to the cops. The feed erupted again. It's why. Shit. The hero actually called the cops. The plot has completely shattered. Cody staging his own accident wasn't that clever. A simple investigation will expose the truth. Is the little snake about to be written out of the story? Is the wife-chasing crematorium plot starting early? That depends on what the heroine does now. The police arrived quickly. I played the recording of my conversation with Cody for them and said I hoped they would help me clear my name. Under police questioning, Cody stammered and stuttered, completely losing his composure. It was to be expected. Only the one who frames you knows how truly innocent you are. He knew exactly what happened with the car accident. From the very beginning, his only goal was to use the incident to drive a wedge between me and Claire. Unfortunately for him, he made one fatal miscalculation. I wasn't the original Andrew, that spineless wimp created by the author just to pad out the word count. I was a normal person, and when I deal with problems, my first priority is to cut through the bullshit with a sharp knife. I wasn't about to let this soap opera drama screw up my life. I had full confidence that the police would deliver justice. Within a few days, the police discovered a large wire transfer between Cody and the driver of the car. They even uncovered his private deal with a doctor to falsify his medical reports. 3 cheers for the cops of this world. Andrew, can we talk? Early the next morning, Claire showed up at my door. After we gave our statements at the hospital that day, I moved back in with my parents. Since I had taken the original Andrew's place, his money was my money, his parents were my parents, his daughter was my daughter, and his wife. Not even a dog would want her. Splash. The second my mom saw Claire, she tossed a bucket of water on her. I couldn't help but laugh from the sidelines. Mom, if you're gonna douse a bitch like her, you could have just used the leftover vegetable water. Why waste a bucket of clean water? My mom shot me a glare. This is all your fault, you little bastard. I just smiled sheepishly and didn't argue. The original Andrew's parents really did spoil him rotten. Otherwise, they never would have given him their entire life savings from the city's buyout of their old property, just so he could help Claire save her family's company. You'd be hard-pressed to find better parents anywhere. Soaked to the bone, Claire just stood there, not getting angry, her posture incredibly humble. Are you satisfied, Andrew? If not, you can throw another bucket on me. I leaned against the door frame, not wanting the dripping wet Claire to step inside and ruin our clean floor. Spit it out. But unless it's about the divorce, I don't think we have anything to talk about. Could you please let Cody go? She pleaded. His parents were very good to me. If you let him off this time, I promise I'll cut off all contact with him. We'll never see each other again. Okay. As the words left her mouth, the comment feed filled with vitriol. The heroine is still begging for her little brother? What a bitch. Don't you dare agree, hero. A monster like Cody deserves to be in jail. I really want to slap some sense into this disgusting heroine. Never see each other again. Yeah, right? Even a dog wouldn't believe that. Sure, I said. You agree to the divorce. Give me what you owe me from the company, and I'll let Cody walk. Who wants a tainted woman like you? I thought. I want the money. I knew she'd agree. In these kinds of novels, the male side piece is basically invincible in the early chapters. Even if he murdered the main character, the heroine would probably slap the corpse and tell it to get up and apologize. Besides, from the original Andrew's memories, I knew why Claire was so devoted to Cody. When she was a little girl, she was kidnapped. The kidnappers abandoned her on the run, and because she was too young to remember her address or parents' names, she ended up in an orphanage. She was later adopted by Cody's parents, who were very kind to her. A few years later, Claire's biological parents found her. Disgusted by the poverty of Cody's family and afraid they'd become a burden, they left a sum of money and took Claire away. It wasn't until Cody graduated from college and got a job at Thompson Industries that Claire recognized him. From him, she learned that his parents, her adoptive parents, had passed away. She was consumed with guilt for not being there to see them one last time. To atone for her guilt, she adopted Cody as her little brother and gave him anything he wanted. And Cody, emboldened by her favoritism, had the guts to provoke the original Andrew time and time again. But Claire forgot one thing. Her guilt wasn't my problem, and she had no right to drag me, or the original Andrew, into her penance. Andrew, don't say things you don't mean, she said, her voice tight. If we get divorced, what about our daughter? Where was your concern for your daughter when you were cheating on me? I shot back, tired of her using our child as a shield. I told you I wasn't cheating. I just see him as a brother, she yelled. Cheating isn't just about sex. A married woman getting inappropriately close with another man counts too. Look, stop wasting my time with this crap. Either we get our lawyers on the phone today and start the divorce proceedings, or you can watch your little boyfriend go to prison. Seeing the hesitation on her face, I sneered. You never hesitated when you were asking me to be considerate of Cody. But now that it's going to cost you, you're having second thoughts. It just goes to show, some people are only generous with other people's money. I guess without my cash, your little brother wouldn't want you anymore, either. The comments flared up again. You got a point. Say it louder for the people in the back. So true. When she was cozying up to her brother, she always told the hero not to overthink it. Now that she has to pay up to save him, she's feeling the pinch. If she gives him the settlement, he's going to walk away with like 10 million bucks, right? 10 million. That's set for life money. Fine. I'll do it, Claire said, her face a shifting palette of green and white before she finally gave in. I felt a pang of indignation for the original Andrew. His wife would turn on him over a simple misunderstanding, but it took countless disappointment for her to even consider giving up on her brother. And now, she was willing to pay a fortune just to save him. In the end of the novel, the original Andrew actually forgave her. That could only happen in a book. In reality, the story would have ended with the original Andrew dead, and Claire and Cody living happily ever after. Eager to get Cody out of the picture, we finalized the divorce paperwork at lightning speed. It's amazing how fast things move when you have money. Watching the massive sum hit my bank account and holding the signed documents transferring 20% of Thompson Industries to me, I didn't waste a second. I immediately went to see Claire's uncle. Thompson Industries was a family business. The old man, Claire's grandfather, had always favored his younger son, so Claire's uncle, Rob, was initially in charge. As the novel goes, Uncle Rob was an incompetent fool who nearly ran the company into the ground. The old man had to bring in his older son, Claire's dad, another man with no real business sense, to clean up the mess. That's when the original Andrew had to step in with his $2 million investment to save the day. After Claire successfully turned the company around, Uncle Rob was always scheming to get back in power. But Claire consolidated her control with her own 20% stake, and her father held another 20. Together, They had more shares than her grandfather and Uncle Rob combined, leaving him powerless. But now, with my 20%, Uncle Rob would suddenly become the majority shareholder in Thompson Industries. As for whether Uncle Rob would run the company into the ground again, not my problem. Toxic romance, angsty drama, love triangles. Get that crap away from me. I had money and looks. I could find any woman I wanted. It's not like every other woman on the planet had dropped dead, forcing me to hang myself from the Claire Thompson tree. Uncle Rob, it turned out, was a very practical man. The moment he heard I was selling my shares, his years of animosity toward me vanished. We were suddenly best buds, bonding over what a piece of work Claire was, acting like we were long-lost brothers. The comment feed was dying of laughter. Did the hero really just sell the shares to the uncle? He's going for the throat. He's out to destroy her entire family. Claire's parents are going to have a bigger meltdown than she did. No kidding. Her mom spent half her life getting walked all over by the Thompson family. She finally gets a taste of power, and now it's all gone. Serves them right. After Andrew saved their company, the second they were back on their feet, her mom turned on him. No good deed goes unpunished. It's a classic story. The hero really, truly does not give a damn about Claire anymore. After the deal, my net worth was around $15 million. This wave of insane wealth had finally crashed over me, but I deserved it. Setting aside my initial $2 million investment, Claire and I never signed a prenup. Half of her assets were legally mine, and since she was the one who cheated, I was entitled to the lion's share anyway. I kept my promise and signed the papers to drop the charges against Cody. With some strings pulled by Claire, he was released. With the money in hand, I immediately bought a mansion and hired 2 bodyguards. The mansion was a top-tier luxury home in the same exclusive neighborhood where Claire lived, the kind you can't even get into without an appointment. As for the bodyguards, in the original novel, Andrew's parents were constantly harassed by Claire after the divorce, which wore them down completely. With bodyguards, I'd never have to worry about my parents being bothered by that psycho. As expected, the moment Uncle Rob got the shares, he couldn't wait to kick Claire out of the CEO position. When Claire's mother found out, she came storming over to my new house to settle the score. Andrew Harrison, you little son of a bitch. I'm not interested in listening to you, and you don't have the right to speak to me. Get her. The second her mother's foot crossed the threshold, my bodyguards swarmed her, gave her a sound beating, and tossed her out onto the street. As for calling the cops, please, my bodyguards were acting in defense of their employer. Besides, she was the one trespassing and looking for a fight. Like mother, like daughter, I guess. I made a point of waiting at the old house and having her beaten a second time. After that, she finally got the message and didn't dare show her face again. Once all that was settled, I packed a small bag and set off to see the world. The helplessness I'd felt in my past life, confined to a wheelchair, gave me an intense craving to explore. The world was so big, and I wanted to see it. Majestic mountains, beautiful beaches, the brilliant aurora borealis. What wasn't more interesting than the stupid drama of the original novel? Along the way, I met plenty of like-minded, beautiful women. We met on our journeys. With some, we huddled for warmth at the foot of a snowy mountain. With others, we rubbed sunscreen on each other on a sandy beach. With others still, we battled it out in the heart of a forest. After our brief encounters, we would part ways, our time together like a beautiful, fleeting dream. The tone of the comment feed gradually began to change. I sent this supposed to be a wife-chasing novel. How'd it turn into a travel blog? I'm so jealous of a hero. I want to have a romantic encounter with a beautiful woman too. Only rich people have romantic encounters when they travel. Poor people just look at the scenery. Dude, come on. Don't rub it in. I want to go on a spontaneous trip like that. My boss would be thrilled. One less severance package to pay out. The crematorium plot is probably dead and buried. And just like that, I traveled for over a year. A year later, I returned home to spend Christmas with my parents. They told me that Claire had come by many times, but she was always stopped by security at the gate. I also heard that not long ago, due to internal power struggles, the funding chain at Thompson Industries snapped and the company declared bankruptcy. Speak of the devil. A moment later, there was a knock at the door of the mansion. I opened it. Standing outside were Claire and our daughter, Anna. Claire's face was pale, and her eyes had changed. They were weary, empty, with a hint of something I couldn't quite name. The expensive designer clothes she used to wear had been replaced by something from a department store. What did you get in? I asked, surprised. Were the $100,000 a year in HOA fees I was paying going to waste? Son, it's Christmas. Just let them in, my mom said, appearing behind me with a peacemaking smile. It dawned on me. My mom must have missed her granddaughter and told security to let them through. Daddy, Anna said in a sweet, quiet voice. I scooped Anna into my arms and stepped aside to let Claire in. Did you miss Daddy? I asked, rubbing my nose against hers. To be honest, I've always liked kids, but only in small doses. As for Anna, the daughter of the original Andrew and Claire, I had no intention of fighting Claire for custody. I would make sure she was provided for, and when she got married, I'd give her a generous dowry so she could have a beautiful wedding. But that was it. Claire didn't sit down. She just stood in the living room, watching me. Thompson Industries is gone. Good riddance. It should have gone under years ago, I said. She understood my meaning perfectly. If it weren't for me, the company would have collapsed a long time ago. Comments. So satisfying. The hero is so right. Ungrateful bastards. That uncle is really something else. It took the hero and heroine years to bring the company back from the dead, and he bankrupted it in one. The heroine's dad is a piece of work too. He knew the company was failing, but instead of cutting his losses, he kept throwing money at it. The heroine has to work a normal job now. I bet she regrets everything. She deserves it. That's what cheaters get. Suddenly, Claire said, Cody's dead. Heaven has eyes, then, I replied, unconcerned. Well, why shit? When did he die? Did I miss a chapter? About 30 chapters ago. The hero met a truck driver whose shipment of fruit had spoiled, and the client refused to pay. The hero found out the driver's wife had left him, and he needed money to pay for his daughter's leukemia treatment. The hero paid the medical bills, promised to cover all future costs, and even took the guy out for a spa day. And then he casually mentioned how he'd been cheated on, and showed the driver a picture of Cody. Damn, that's like something out of an ancient story about training assassins. Feed him, treat him well, take care of his family. If the guy had any sense of honor after hearing how the hero was wronged, he had to take care of it. The hero is so bad. I love it. Claire bit her lip, her expression almost pleading. So can we? I cut her off. There is no we. There is you, and there is me. After the divorce, you are you, and I am me. What about our daughter? Are you really going to let her grow up in a single-parent home? I looked at Anna seriously. Sweetheart, tell Daddy. Do you want to live with Daddy or with Mommy? Anna's eyes darted between me and Claire. Can I have both? My heart clenched. In any divorce, the children are the ones who get hurt the most. The parents make the mistakes, but the kids bear the burden. I quickly suppressed that flicker of emotion and spoke gently. Your mother made a mistake that can't be forgiven, so Daddy can't live with her anymore. I know it's not fair that you have to suffer for our mistakes, but that's just how it is. You have to make a choice. The comments drifted by. He's right. When adults screw up, the kids suffer the most. The hero is so cold. He hasn't seen his daughter in over a year. Looking at Anna just breaks my heart. The heroine didn't even really cheat. Maybe the hero should just forgive her and give their child a complete family. To the person above me, can I get your wife's number? At that moment, Claire finally broke down. Andrew, what are you talking about? What unforgivable thing did I do? I had my mother take Anna into the other room. Then I turned to Claire, my gaze calm. Are you sure you want to do this, Claire? You keep saying you were nice to Cody to repay his parents. But if we're talking about gratitude, I said, quoting the air around the word, the debt you owe me is much greater. But how did you repay me? When your family's company was about to go under, I gave you everything I had to help you. And later, when your parents accused me of taking advantage of your family's vulnerability, what did you do? You didn't say a single word to defend me. But every time I pointed out that Cody had bad intentions, you defended him. Every single time. You were even willing to give up a fortune for him. But you slapped me across the face based on nothing more than his lies. Are you sure that when you hit me, your feelings for Cody were just about repaying a debt? Because if that's the case, you have a very unique way of measuring gratitude. Comments. The hero's words are like daggers. So on point. Both were acts of kindness, so why the double standard? It's obvious why. Some people think getting married is a gift they bestow upon their partner, and that the partner should worship the ground they walk on. Totally. They act like a doormat at work, but a tyrant at home. It's the same with people who spoil their siblings or are total mama's boys. They push all their responsibilities onto their spouse. A little while later, my mom brought Anna out of the room. I don't know what my mom said to her, but the first thing Anna said when she saw me was, Daddy, I want to live with you. Okay. I stroked Anna's hair, a wave of genuine happiness washing over me. There was a selfish reason I wanted custody of Anna. My year of traveling hadn't settled my restless heart. Instead, it had shown me my purpose in life. Either travel or read. The soul and the body must always be in motion. Bringing in a home would stop my parents from nagging me about getting married again, and it would give them some company. With money to hire nannies, taking care of a child wouldn't be a burden on them at all. And now that the Thompson family was bankrupt, winning a custody battle would be a breeze for my lawyers, unlike the drawn-out fight it would have been a year ago. Claire was stunned. Anna, what are you saying? Isn't Mommy good to you? Anna nodded, then shook her head. Mommy, you're very good to me. But Grandma and Grandpa don't like me. When you're not around, they call me a waste of money and say that Daddy left because I wasn't a boy. But they were lying. Daddy didn't leave me. Claire looked as if she'd been struck by lightning. Why didn't you ever tell me? I did, Anna said softly. But you told me Grandma was just in a bad mood and that I shouldn't hold it against her. Comments. What a sweet, perceptive child. The hero needs to find a good stepmom for her. I support the hero getting together with the second female lead. She's beautiful and kind and will treat Anna like her own daughter. I looked away. I'd seen enough of the comments to know they were talking about a girl from my college days who had a huge crush on the original Andrew. Her family was extremely wealthy, but I had no intention of contacting her. She had reached out a few times during my year of travel, and I had turned her down every time. Leaving aside the fact that she was in love with the original Andrew, my wild, freedom-loving personality wasn't suited for being tied down to anyone. More importantly, a rich, beautiful heiress who, in the novel's ending, was perfectly fine with the hero having a harem. That wasn't the thinking of a normal person. That was just an author's fantasy character. Claire tried to say something else, but I was done listening. I had the bodyguards escort her out. After spending Christmas with my parents and daughter, I hit the road again. Time flew. 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. I lived well. Incredibly well. The 15 million I started with grew into tens of millions in interest alone, sitting in the bank. And with the original Andrew's memories, I had a keen eye for investments. I backed a few projects, and the money multiplied several times over. I didn't have to worry about making a living. I was completely free. Was this the life of a mortal? No, this was the life of a god. The comments would occasionally drift by. Forget love, forget immortality, I just want one day of Andy's life. Hey blonde, Andy's romantic conquests are finally going international. This is the kind of crematorium I want to see. Once you're in the fire, you stay there. Let them both move on and be happy on their own. When I was nearly 40, I suddenly felt the urge to settle down. I opened a coffee shop. Most days I just brew a cup, pick up a book and relax. Maybe one day, when I was rested enough, I'd start a new journey. Soft melodic music filled the clean, bright coffee shop. Time is a one-way trip. You can never go back. The good and the bad are all part of the view. In the years that followed, I saw Claire a few times. I never said another word to her. Every time, I would roll up my car window and drive away without a second glance. In my view, what's missed is missed. What's lost is lost. Even if I were the original Andrew, I would never go back. Claire's existence was just a scene from the past. And the best view is always the one that lies ahead. Epilogue I. Claire's story, the day Andrew had her thrown out of the mansion. It was Christmas Eve. Snow was falling from the sky, blanketing the world in a vast expanse of white. It was beautiful, like a scene from a classic romance movie. But I was in no mood to appreciate the scenery. I hugged my cheap, $100 down jacket tighter, as if that could bring me any warmth. I got back to the apartment building. Warm light glowed from every window. It was a day for family reunions. I reached my front door, stuck the key in the lock, and turned it. The door clicked open. Inside, there was no hot meal waiting, no caring family to greet me. My mother, who had been waiting for me, looked past me with greedy eyes. When she saw that Andrew wasn't with me, her neck stiffened. Where's Andrew? Didn't he come back with you? No. What about Anna? You didn't bring her back either? No. You useless thing. This is all because of your cheating. My mother launched into her usual endless tirade. When she finally tired herself out, I shot back with a cold face. Weren't you the one who couldn't stand Andrew? You said I'd be better off marrying Cody than him. If you hadn't been bad-mouthing him to me all the time, telling me he wasn't good enough for me, we wouldn't be in this mess. And today, I heard from Anna that you call her a waste of money when I'm not around. What kind of grandmother does that? This argument had been repeating daily in this 1,000-square-foot apartment ever since Thompson Industries went bankrupt a month ago. For a normal person, a 1,000-square-foot apartment might be the result of a lifetime of hard work. But for my mother, who had moved out of mansion, it was like falling from heaven into hell. The jarring change drove her to the brink of a breakdown every day. She vented her frustration by blaming me, Andrew, my father, Cody, anyone she could think of. I had gone from trying to reason with her to enduring it to now fighting back. I adopted her own method, accusing her of being the one who destroyed my 10-year marriage to Andrew. It was a way to shut her up and a way to lie to myself, to believe that my failed marriage wasn't my fault, but the fault of my parents and Cody. As for my father, my gaze drifted to the study. The door was shut tight. He was probably in there with his earplugs in, hiding from the noise. After our fight, my mother's expression changed again. She began to coax me in a soft voice. Claire, honey, why don't you try again tomorrow? No matter what, you didn't actually cheat on him, and you gave him a daughter. Besides, even if he doesn't want to remarry, he should give you some of the assets back. Nowadays, even if someone really cheats, they don't have to leave with nothing. I couldn't stand to listen to it anymore. I ran to my room and locked the door, shutting out her familiar lecture. She yelled my name a few times from the hallway. While I didn't answer, she started cursing again. When she tired of that, she turned her fire on my father, pounding on the study door. In the darkness of my room, I hugged my knees and silent tears streamed down my face. I regretted it. I regretted agreeing to his terms just to get him to drop the charges against Cody. I regretted listening to Cody's lies and slapping Andrew, a slap that shattered our relationship. I regretted thinking Andrew would never leave me, so I kept protecting Cody, letting him stay by my side and poison my marriage. I regretted believing that as long as I didn't physically cheat, I could have it all, a brother who gave me emotional support and a husband who managed my life perfectly. I regretted forgetting the days when Andrew and I had relied on each other, scrambling for investors and clients to save my family's company. I had so many regrets, more than I could count. If I had a second chance, I would never divorce Andrew. I would never have listened to Cody's side of the story and slapped Andrew. I would have investigated first, and after discovering Cody's true colors, I would have cut him out of my life without a second thought. But in this world, there's no medicine for regret. Andrew, you're dreaming. If you hadn't hit me, at most you would have just avoided a beating. But not divorcing me? Keep dreaming. Epilogue 2. Andrew's story at 41. I set out on a new journey. This time, I chose to return to the first stop on my 10-year odyssey, Bend, Oregon. A new beginning. All those years ago, I met a girl here named Sophia. She was pure and beautiful. I almost broke my vow of freedom for her, almost decided to stay and build a life with her. But in the end, I ran. I wonder how Sophia was doing after 12 years. I found a number for a local bed and breakfast on my phone and called to ask about the rooms. 5 seconds later, I heard a voice I'd heard countless times in my dreams. In a soft, gentle tone, she said, "Hello. One in one town, one life to find the one. Welcome to the bend in the river. How can I help you?" One in one town, one life to find the one. My vision blurred. In that moment, through the wind and the mountains and the clear blue sky of this town, I could see her as she was at 26. Maybe a middle-aged man of 41 like me should finally settle down. Or maybe my journey just needed a permanent companion. The end.